Hi everybody, today I'm going to be showing you some of my jelly plate play with Lavinia stamp stencils and the new acrylic chalk paint. I love using chalk paint on jelly plates because what I particularly like anywhere really is fragments. I love little bits of things, and acrylic chalk paint dries a bit quicker than any other acrylic paint because it's got chalk in it, which makes it really smooth to stamp on, and I like playing with that property because you get fragments and particularly with this stencil, which is a Flourish stencil, it just reminds me of like old damask wallpapers or that, you know, that old kind of pattern. So this is printed on a tag that I'd used sandstone brusher on. It was a tag, I think I was showing somebody a colour at a demo, but I really like that combination. But you can also pick up with another colour. So this is the Honeybee with Eden. And then I've used different stencils. I've added just a little bit of stamping or a little bit of mica for some sparkle. There's a wink of Stella in there. And this one is jelly printed onto some sheer paper, which means that I could stamp behind it. I used the owl words, and that comes through as well, so you're getting a multi-layer, and I just glued that on with a glue stick, so worked really well. So again, that's got some mica mineral sparkle as well. So what I love particularly about jelly plate printing is it just encourages play. It's so serendipitous to a certain extent about what happens. You've got to embrace that, I feel, and you'd find it tricky, I think, to repeat something exactly every time. So if you have any perfectionist tendencies like I do, I like the fact that the medium takes control rather than me trying to make something happen. So I find the best thing with jelly plate printing is to have a play session, make a load of papers, get a feel for it, about how much paint you want on a page, that kind of thing, and you'll end up with bits and pieces that you might like or you might not. I love this piece. I don't know yet what I'm going to do with it. It might become part of a page in a book, or even a book cover maybe, or just a little card with just a word on down there. This is playing with hydrangea petals and picking it up with green, but I think what I'd like to do is get the white paint and have a white background. But the other thing that's really nice to do on here is to get your coloured pencils out, maybe highlight some of those areas. This is when I was playing with that Flourish stencil, and some things I'm not sure about, but chop these up or put them in with other pieces, you know, make a patchwork, and they start to come to life. And so I keep things like this. I might add some, you know, I might add some white jelly printing onto there, and it might just lift it for me. All sorts of fragments and collections, playing with what if, you know, well, what if I'd try purple? I mean, purple is not one of my colours, but was in the set that I was sent to try, and so I've embraced it, and actually it's got me working with a colour that I wouldn't use normally, and I really like it. I think it kind of almost makes that honeybee look gold, a golden yellow, whereas on here it looks kind of much brighter yellow. So it does depend on what you're pairing your colours with. And then this I wanted to show you, because this is my under paper, and I just love this piece. I really love this. It came off it. On here I've braided over the top when I've been cleaning my brayer off. This is from around the edge when I was using the square jelly plate, pressing it down, and you get these lovely edges which you can tear, add to journals, add to cards. Yeah, they tend to get used. So I just wanted to show you the results of some of the play before we got started. But let's have a go. So what I'm going to do is show you how I made this tag. And I always think tags are, I don't know, I just love tags anyway, but they're a nice thing to play with. You can easily make your own from a bigger sheet of card if you don't want to be using up a set of tags for playing. But yeah, that's what we're going to do today. Let's pop that one over there. So we've got a tag over here. Now, as I say, this one started with sandstone, which I can't find. It's escaped my box of Brusho and is clearly on its own somewhere. It's not even my box of Dinkles, which they intermix those two. And then I picked this one up out of my box when I was looking for some blank ones of these. This will be the grey, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to give that one a go. What I like about starting with a brushed background is that those colours on here then lead me somewhere else with these colours. So I'm not sure I would have picked Sahara to edge this one if I hadn't got that sandstone behind it and thought, oh, do you know what, I'm going to pick that colour up. So let's have a play with this one. To do that, in case you've not seen it, you just need to sprinkle a little bit of Brusho. Give it a spritz with some water. And you get these colours. You see those? Now I'm going to put that to one side and use this one so you don't have to hear me drying the ink. And I'm going to take this piece of paper off just so it's not a damp one for the camera. I always used to work on big paper, and I've been working on A4 recently, and then remembered why I tended to work on big paper when I started doing this, because having the jelly plate out and having somewhere, you can either have two A4 pieces of paper, one to rub your paint off with, or you can, this looks better on camera if I'm very honest. That's where we're going now. Apologise for that light ring on there, doing the best I can. So there's my tag that I'm going to print with. I'm going to be using the Cacao brown paint, the Flourish stencil, because you can see it's well used, and let's get started. So I've got my brayer. I'll give my paint a shake just to make sure it's all mixed up, especially if it's new. Sometimes the water settles a little bit at the top, so you just need to give it a shake. That's probably about a penny's width or a cent if you're in America, maybe slightly smaller, is about the end of my finger. I'm just going to brayer that out. There we go, and wipe it on here. Ooh, some wiggly bits on there. Oh, you see, that just shows you, doesn't it, what you've got on your plate. Can't see. It's on my roller. You've got real life here. What really happens? There we go. Here we are. And let's pop the stencil on. Yeah, let's go that way. Now, I was putting a piece of paper on the top. Of course, you can always use your brayer to lift off that paint. And what the brayer does is it collects it on there, and then when you put it down, it reprints it back down again. You get some really nice bits and pieces. I'll take that off, and like I said, it's quite quick drying, this chalk paint, so if you're not picking it up in a different way, you need to get that tag down quite quickly. Now, if you want to use it, and you want to clean back to it because you're going to use it for sending somebody or on a parcel, or as a bookmark, and put your paper over the top, and then it's a good rub, and you can add your brayer just to give it a really good press down onto that paint. This is where you start to pick up bits and pieces. Look, so that's looking like it might be a bit wet, a bit dry, but we'll see what we get. Ooh, look at that. So we've got hints of this brown in areas, and that brusho underneath is just part of the tag. Now it's got quite a bit of paint left on there, so what we can do, find another tag, and this time I'm going to pop a thin layer of honeybee on, and what that's going to do, it's going to clean my plate, maybe, and it's also going to pick up that that brown remaining paint that's on there. Let's give that a go. We don't want it very thick, but we don't want it too thin either, which is why I say, you know, go with the flow and play and see what you get, and you know, just give yourself a play session, maybe half an hour or an hour. You just get your jelly printing bits and bobs out and have a good play. And I find that, you know, when I first start, I'm not happy with what I do, but as I relax into it and play a bit more, the pieces come to life, and I get bits I like, and oh, I like that, let's try that again, or let's try that again with a different colour, and you'll end up with a little pile of goodiness. There we go. So let's see what we've got here. Yes, now that's reminding me of damask wallpaper. I don't know about you. Yummy. So there we go. So that's the jelly printing bit. Now I've been using my bob long. I'll put him to one side to clean him later. But you can use whatever size you've got, really. Okay. Now we just need to add some colour, and if you want to add a little bit of stamping, then please do. So I'm going to get out my fallen leaves and one of the sign stamps. There's 4 sets of these. Great if you've got all 4, that's brilliant. If you only want one set, I'd pick one that's got some words on that you like, and then if you're using it for background, which is I love because it's such tiny script, if you're using it for backgrounds, then it doesn't really matter which one you use. This one happens to be Blisslings, which I just think is gorgeous words. I'm just filling in some of those areas. I'm getting 2 for 1 here. I'm going to add some in here as well. And if you use different stencils, that will give you a different effect. Use different colours, you know, have a play, well, what if I do this, what if I do that? Right, let's get ourselves a stencil brush. I'm just going to get a smaller piece of paper just to mask off that patch of paper we weren't using. Right, let's have a look on here. See, now on here we've got some blues. Quite like I love blue and brown together. So I'm wondering whether to pick up those blues instead. So let me have a look in my box. That might be a Della blue. That might be the one we want. Let's have a little look. So try put it on the foot. Yeah, I'm liking that. So let's go with this around the edges. I'm still building up my collection of stencil brushes, so I try and get them as clean as I can. Sometimes I'll wash them before using a different colour, and I try and keep to colour things, but sometimes there's a different colour underneath, which is a serendipitous way of getting a new colour combination. I think this is fairly true. Bring that around the edges. They're really quick to make these. I mean, you saw how quickly that jelly printing happened. I could do, you know, in half an hour I could probably do quite a few tags, different colours, different stencils, some with a bit of brush show behind, some with some dinkles maybe. There's so many different options you can try to get the most out of your stamps and stencils, because you've spent, you know, a fair bit on these, so you want them to work for their money. You don't want just one idea of how to use them, you want a few. But I maybe gel plates should be on prescription from a well-being point of view, because I know that I find you know, I can feel the stress almost draining away really as I play. Now the other thing I added on my my original tag was some dinkles mixed with a mica mineral. So I used brown. I dipped my paintbrush in it a couple of times into my pot, and then I added the metallic bronze. Now just don't sneeze, breathe, have an open window, let a cat waft past you with this because it's so light. And I said to Tracy, I mixed up the Dinkles Lime with the Crystal Gold. Oh my goodness me, I felt like a child playing potions. It was just so sparkly, and I just had a thoroughly good time. I'm just going to rinse my paintbrush. This is the number 4 paintbrush, just a finish paintbrush. But this one I mixed up earlier. It's brown dinkles with some bronze in there. I mixed it up in my little pot. But the mica is just incredible on here. And all I did was, do you know what? Like when I'm stamping, I just test it a little bit on my page just to get the feel of how it's coming out. You know, is it going to be too wide, etc. And what I'm doing here is I'm just following the pattern of some of this stencil, kind of colouring it in really with my bronze brown mica dinkles mix. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fade that out a bit more. With some water. Let me get my water. So I've got a wet brush now, it's just water. I'm just going to pull that colour out so it kind of fades naturally rather than comes to a dead end. This is getting... So I've got some sparkle in there. I don't know if it's picking up on the light. Might do a bit more up here. On this one, I just did it on this bit of stencil, whether you can see from the bronzy colour, and here, and then I've edged it with that colour as well. So some of it's got sparkle and some of it hasn't. It looks almost seaweedy, doesn't it, this stencil on this card. I think I am going to go with some up here, just hints of it. and then into the water and fade it out. I guess going in with that, I suppose what they used to call it was shabby chic, didn't they? Just, you know, the hints and fragments, just little bits of it coloured. So we'll just add that on there. Into the water. I don't know whether you can see it. I'm just kind of drying it off a bit on my hand. There we go. And the other thing you can add if you want to is come back in with your stencil with some Elements inks and add some of that to your background if you wanted to. I'm liking this like that. So I think I'm going to leave it. Now, I'm just having a look. Oh yeah, I was just looking to see how much sparkle there was left in here. I'm just going to give it another mix. Do you know what? I'm going to top it up from around the edges. So all I'm doing is, you know, you'll see how fine it is because it just wants to be on that wet paintbrush. You can't pick up a bit. You see, it's like, just it reminds me of like when you're picking up iron filings on a magnet. Do you remember doing that at school? It just all wants to be there. So mix that in, and that should be extra sparkly. I'm just going to edge my tag with that ink. So this is my latest favourite thing to do. I was doing it on some locked paper. Oh my goodness, that was another happy moment. Because the colour, you put it on the edge of a piece of locked paper, the colour kind of bleeds into your shape and the mica sits along the edge, gives you a sparkly edge. It's very pleasing. One of those things, you know, when you think, why have I not had these before? I mean, I have had, but in the old incarnation, but these ones just seem extra sparkly. Don't know what they did. I don't know whether you can see that sparkle coming around the edge now. There we go. I might choose a way to put that on there. I might not, we'll see. But just with a little bit of jelly plate spray, add in your brushos. Oh. Similarly, this was the one we did with the brown, and we picked up what was left, what was dry on the jelly plate with the yellow was cacao and honeybee. And we can do something similar with this. Colour in some of those shapes with this Dinkles mica mix. And create another tag. The thing with jelly plate printing is it can go on and on because you go, oh, there's something left on there, and I don't clean. You won't be surprised to know I don't clean my plate in between. I clean it by putting a layer of paint on, I should say. I don't clean it with soap and water in between. I clean it by putting a layer of paint on and pulling off what's there, which often gives you, especially if you're not thinking about it, you're not concentrating and you're doing it just on a scrap of paper, can often be the bits you like best. So paper wise, I've upgraded my copy paper under paper now to not the value one, but kind of the next level up, or it's probably the cheapest HP or something like that, because it's got a bit of a sheen to it and it picks up really nicely. I'm just using this until the colour comes out, just so I get a variation in colour depth. And like I said before, they're really nice to colour on, especially if you've got that base acrylic paint as well. So all of that background is the honeybee with the brown on top. Get your coloured pencils out on there, and they feel amazing. Let me get one. Let's pick it out maybe with purple it was. So these are the Mondelou Kohinoor ones, but you start to just lightly shade on there. And then pull out that colour, and you can add dimension. And I think these would be great, you know, if you've got a stack of these, again, you know, in your play session, make a stack of these, take these on holiday with your pencil crayons. How relaxing is that? Mindful colouring. Sorry, not the top there. So that's another idea you can take it to. Oh, do you know what I didn't do on this one? I didn't do any splatters, copper splatters. Let's add some on here. There we go. I think that might be enough on them. I add a bit of sparkle again up here. And I'm going to leave space on here for some words. I do like that. Don't let life dull your sparkle. Which with these shiny bits really works, doesn't it? So let's edge this one with the dinkles mixed with mica powders. This is bronze, which is just as sparkly as the gold. Ooh. There we go. And there we are. Some jelly print play with these beautiful paints. Have a go, let me know how you get on, and remember, play, 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 and see what you get. I'd love to see it. Thanks for watching, bye.